All right, Justin, appreciate you sitting down. You do a ton of these Connecticut Housing Finance Authority loans, right? This
Great product out there.
So this is a program for Connecticut buyers, and it gives them access to what?
Really access to below market interest rates for first-time home buyers in conjunction with a variety of different down payment assistance programs.
So down payment assistance is the staple of this program, right? Like that's the main part. So there are generally two programs for down payment assistance in the Connecticut Housing Program, correct?
Correct. We have down payment assistance program and you have the time to own program.
All right. So time to own, everybody's super excited about the time to own because that's one of the only forgivable down payment assistance programs that's out there, right?
Correct.
All right. So let's save that for the end. We're going to have time to own do cleanup for us. Let's talk about just their standard program. So standard program is first time home buyers.
Correct.
Unless you're in
a target area, there are certain areas of the state where they will eliminate the need for you to be a first time home buyer and you can still buy there.
Okay. So the state has identified certain areas and you can actually look up Connecticut Housing Finance Authority targeted areas and we'll bring up a map, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we'll Google that and we can find that map. Limited spots, but they're basically saying we've targeted these areas and we want more home ownership in these areas.
Correct. And if you buy in those areas, the need to be a first-time home buyer is eliminated. You can still access these below-market interest rates that Connecticut Housing offers.
Wow. Okay, and the down payment assistance that comes with that.
Exactly.
All right, so the standard program then comes with how much in down payment assistance?
It comes with up to 4% of the down payment of the purchase price or $15,000, whichever's less.
Okay, so up to $15,000. That's a pretty good chunk of change. Is that repayable? How does that work?
Right. So the down payment assistance loan program is repayable at a 5% interest rate on a second mortgage, fully amortized second mortgage, 30 years.
So it is repayable. It's giving you some money for down payment, but it's getting over that hurdle that a lot of people have, which is their savings, right?
Correct. Down payment assistance money can also be applied towards closing costs as well, or in addition to down payment funds that the borrower chooses to contribute as well.
Okay, so they don't have to just use the $15,000. They could throw in their own $15,000 or $30,000 or
correct,
whatever.
Yeah. Just be additional. If they already have a down payment, maybe the down payment assistance just covers all their closing costs.
Okay, all right. So that's the standard program. So 4% up to $15,000. That's pretty good. There's other states who have similar programs to that, but I feel like the time to own program really kind of blows away down payment assistance programs in other places, right?
Right, because it eliminates the payment part, really.
All right, so let's get there for a second. So the time to own program, first off, is how much money is available in the time to own program?
Right, time to own is up to $50,000 to be applied towards your transaction.
Okay, so can go towards down payment and closing costs. You can contribute towards both there, up to $50,000. All right, that's unbelievable. Tell us how that $50,000, you say up to, so let's explain to everybody like what determines how much you get.
Right, so basically it's based on the census tract of the property. You're going to look up the property, and depending on where the property is located, you'll either be eligible for up to $50,000 towards your down payment or transaction, or up to $25,000.
Okay.
So you have high opportunity zones and very high zones, and anything else, though those are $50,000 and anything else is $25,000.
All right, so pro tip here for everybody that's out there is looking, just Google Connecticut Housing Opportunity Map. And that opportunity map will actually show you the colors. You can actually type in the address and it's going to tell you, are you in a high or very high area? And if you're in a high or very high area, you're eligible for up to 50. If you're in any other area, you're eligible up to 25.
That's correct. There are income restrictions on those, however. So depending on where your income falls, it's based on area median income.
Okay.
So if you are up to 80% of the area median income, you will get 1% of either the $50,000 or the $25,000.
Okay.
If you are over 80% area median income, but under 100% area median income, you're eligible up to 75% of each of those funds.
So basically, if you're within those CHFA guidelines, you're going to be eligible for some funds, but being underneath the 80% AMI mark makes you eligible for 100% of those 25 or 50,000 as opposed to only 75%.
That's correct. That's how you would maximize and be able to obtain the most amount of money. And now how that money's handled is even better.
Yeah.
It is legitimately free money, as it were, in the sense that there is no payment on the time to own money.
Yeah.
And what happens is the Connecticut Housing will forgive 10% of time to own funds annually for 10 years. And then after that, 100% of the money will have been forgiven.
Okay, so 1/10 every year for 10 years, 10%. So if I decide to sell my house in year 5, I got to pay back half of those funds.
You do, but
Yep.
that is with money that they gave you to put down towards the home. So it's paying it back with equity that essentially was provided by the program.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if you didn't use it, you would have borrowed more in the first place anyways and be paying a huge interest rate on that money. Whereas now you're getting this money with 0% interest, no payment. That's incredible. And
It does sound too good to be true.
And forgiven every single year, one tenth of it forgiven every year for 10 years.
That's correct.
That's unbelievable. Okay. So let's talk maybe a little bit about qualifications, because not everybody is going to qualify for time to own. There's a residency restriction, right?
Exactly. You have to have been a resident of Connecticut for the previous 3 years.
Okay, so they're going to look at tax returns, W-2s, bank statements. They're going to look at all those documents. They're going to make sure you've been living in Connecticut for at least 3 years. Otherwise, you're not going to be eligible.
That's correct.
All right. There's also another eligibility, which I find a little funky sometimes, but the debt to income ratio restriction.
Yes. This is a very interesting one because in my 25 years as a loan officer, we're always very concerned with your debt to income ratio not being over a certain amount because it can affect affordability of the program. But with time to own, this is a needs-based program. So they only want to provide this money to folks that really need it, meaning if your housing debt ratio, if you're buying a home that's very inexpensive relative to your income, you really don't need this money is how Connecticut Housing looks at it. But if you're someone that maybe the numbers are a little stretched and it's tough to afford a home in Connecticut, that's who this money's dedicated towards. So you are required to have a housing debt ratio of at least 30% of your income as a minimum to qualify for.
Okay. So I've had people who were qualified up to, say, $300,000, and they come back with a $200,000 house, and now all of a sudden those ratios are below 30% on housing. They can't get these funds.
That's correct. And this is something that we always have to keep an eye on because that does happen. Oftentimes folks are getting qualified up to an amount they think they may need to go to, but if they buy a much less expensive house and that housing ratio falls below 30% of their income, it can be a problem because it would disqualify you from time to own.
Okay. All right. So Connecticut residents, housing ratio above 30, hitting those income limits.
Right.
Anything else?
Not really. So there is a bit of a keyhole you have to fit in there, but it does encapsulate a lot of buyers that are out there. A lot of first-time buyers qualify for this, and it's definitely worth talking to a mortgage professional to find out because, in this world today, free money is probably the best money.
So when somebody calls you, just says, hey, I want to buy a house, are you just automatically looking at these programs then?
Well, yeah. I mean, we're going to take a holistic look at someone's qualifications. Obviously, first-time buyer would be the first thing that would immediately plant the seed that, hey, Connecticut Housing may be something for them.
Yeah.
And then we're just going to kind of go through the process in reviewing their information. Have they been in Connecticut for 3 years? And we got to hit these various points to see whether this would be something that would work for them. But if it does, it's a great product for home buyers. And we really look to use this program as often as possible.
That's great. And I hear that there's actually some lenders out there, they're maybe not offering this because it's kind of a lost leader for lenders, right? They don't really make any off
It's
of
not
it.
a huge profit center for lenders, but it's an incredible service to our home buyers and really helping those first-time home buyers. Certainly in the Northeast, where it's a little more expensive than other areas of the country, obviously this kind of help is really beneficial to home buyers.
Yeah, and I know our company has really pushed these programs and said, we don't care if it's profitable or not. We want to make sure we are promoting home ownership from a long-term view. That homeowner becomes a future client that, that brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, friends, coworkers all come back. We work by referral, right? So I know our company has been really hard pushing these products because they are just great, even if they're not a big profit center.
And with the GR core values, put the customer first. So that's really what this product does.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So this Connecticut housing program does typically have rates that are lower than what you're getting on average, but they also have some people that get a little bit of a discount as well, right?
Yes, absolutely. Correctly. There's different groups that are identified, whether it's teachers, firefighters, veterans, police officers. There are a variety of different CHFA programs.
Yeah, and then there's, I think, even disabled members of the household, a little bit of discounts there as well, right?
Correct.
And they're still eligible for all of those down payment assistance funds, but they're just getting a slightly better rate as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very unique where there's a lot of different offerings within the Connecticut Housing basket of programs. And so we really look to maximize whatever we can for the home buyer and put them in whatever setup is most advantageous for them.
That's unbelievable. If somebody wants to get qualified for this Connecticut housing program, they do what? call you, right? That wasn't a trick question. That's a layup, man.
Yeah, you just give us a call. We can get a quick application and then determine which program's the best for the buyer.
I like to always just kind of stress to people that just call, right? You're filling out an application. There is no Connecticut housing application. It's a mortgage application.
That's correct.
And your mortgage professional, if they offer that program, should automatically be looking to see what you're available for, because they should be putting you into the best product out there for you.
Yeah, we love to talk about all these different products and programs with both home buyers and realtors, but really call us. It's our job to know the differences between these, which ones to use in which cases, which ones benefit what buyers. So yeah, don't worry about too much of the minutia. We'll handle it all. Give us a call, quick 15-minute application, and we can start working numbers and getting you going.
All right. So call, text, all that good stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you sitting down. I think this is super valuable for people. I just think that there's not great information out there for a lot of these programs. So appreciate you helping us out and spreading the word.
Appreciate it, Brad. Great time. Thanks.
Awesome.